guys, Samantha from Jessama Tutorials here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make basic Mokume Gane and a few tricks to keep in mind when you are doing it. So before we get started, I just wanted to explain where Mokume Gane first came from actually. It was done by Japanese metal artists to make their swords stronger. It also meant that the metal had a unique pattern on it, and this technique was borrowed by Polymer clays for their clay. And that is how we came to have Mokume Gane, which is quite fortunate because I really love Mokume Gane and it's just a beautiful technique. So when you get started, you need a square of each of your colours. Now I'd say you need at least 3 colours for Mokume Gane. You can do 2, but it's best to have 3 or more. So I've chosen Primo Cobalt, Primo White and Primo Black for this project. Now another thing to keep in mind when you are doing Mokume Gane, and this is just a personal preference, is whenever you're doing it, I say that you need at least 1 black or 1 white in it. If you have none of these colours, it can make your Mokume Gane look milky and the pattern won't show up as much as it could, and it will just look a bit more fuzzy than it would if you included one of these. I usually like including both of them because I just think it makes your Mokume Gane pop and you can see the pattern really well, and it just creates a bit of definition and it grounds your Mokume Gane. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stack these squares, and if you're wondering how I got them, I just have a square cutter here that I use to cut out these squares, and it just saves me time instead of having to cut out by hand. So I'll just stack them white on cobalt, well, cobalt on white and black on cobalt. So we have a stack like this. Now each of these colours will roll through on my pasta machine on the thickest setting. So this is 3 times my thickest setting on the pasta machine. Now I'm going to take it over to my pasta machine and I'm going to roll it through on the thickest setting. Just like that. So now we have lengthened it. Now I'm just going to trim up these edges. And always keep these bits that you trim because they can be used in many different leftover techniques. And now what you want to do is you want to trim it. Well, you want to cut it in half and stack it, just like that. And then you'll run it through your pasta machine again. Now this isn't completely square, as you can see. It's more rectangular. You want to take your short side of the rectangle, which is this side or this side, you want to put that into your pasta machine first, so you're going to be lengthening the rectangle instead of widening it. Okay, and there we are. I'll stack that again. And now another thing when you're stacking is you always want it that your one colour is facing up. So in this case it's black. If I were to turn it over, it would be white. So when you're stacking, you always want this colour facing up. You don't want it to look like that, because then what happens is you're duplicating a colour in your stack. And this isn't necessarily wrong, but it can affect your blend. It can affect your effect later on, because it means that you will have a duplicate of one colour, and so that layer will be thicker than all the rest. So I like to have it so that I'm stacking all the colours one on top of the other, like this. And I find it just looks best. It's not necessarily wrong, but I just find that that works best. Okay, so now I'm going to run it through one last time, again lengthening it. And before I stack, just want to trim off this edge. And I'll stack one last time. So if I show you here, you can see that we've got quite a few stripes in here. Now, I want to point out another thing when it comes to Mokume Gane. Depending on how many stripes you have in your cane, you can have a different effect in your Mokume Gane. So I'm going to put this one aside for the moment and we'll leave that one like that. And then this one will stack and we'll roll through the pasta machine one last time, so that this one has twice as many stripes as that one, and you'll see what a difference it makes. Okay, so I'm going to be widening this this time. So instead of running it through from the short end to the short end, I'll be running it through from the wide end to the wide end. Like that. I bring over my tissue blade, I'll just trim that off. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it in 4 and stack it. But this time we're not going to run it through the pasta machine. Now, you don't have to be perfect with the stacks. Mokume Gane is very lenient when it comes to that. It's one of those techniques that has practically no rules to it whatsoever. So don't worry about getting it perfect. Okay, so now we've got a little stack. And I'm just going to smush all these layers together because you want them all nicely bonded together so that it doesn't come apart. So I'm just going to be flattening it out slightly. Like this. Okay, now this one, which has less layers than this one's got twice as many layers. We're going to stack this one as well, just the same. So we're going to make it basically the exact same as this one, except that this one will have twice as many layers as this one. So you can see the layers better in that one. And then just like that one, we're going to just smush this down to about the same thickness. So this one's about twice as thick as my thickest setting on the pasta machine. Okay, then I'll just bring over my acrylic roller and I'm just going to use it to smooth out the top quickly. Okay, now another thing that needs to be brought up is the fact depending on which side of your stack you slice, your colours are going to come out differently. So if I slice on this side, my blue is going to be on top of my white, I do believe. Let me just check quickly. Yes, my cobalt is going to be on top of my white. So that means that the cobalt will come out lighter. If I were to slice from this side, my cobalt would be on top of my black, and so therefore the cobalt will be darker. And I'll show you that in just a second. So what I'm going to do first is we need to stamp in a texture. And I've just got this resin mat that I don't use anymore, and I like to use this for a texture. So I'll just spray a bit of water on it, and I'm going to be slicing from the black side. So that will be the side that I imprint. And I'll just push it onto the mat. And then lift it up gently. Okay, and so some of these have got a symmetrical pattern, and then I've got these cool little bits of resin all over the place, so sometimes it leaves imprints like that, which is cool. And I'll do the same with this one. And again, spray some water. And this will prevent it from sticking to this mat. And this one will be slicing from the same side as this one, so I can show you what it looks like. Now just gently lift that up. Okay, now you've got water all over the place. You need to dry that up. So just bring over a cloth quickly. And all I do is I dab the top. Now, this is just kind of a texture sheet that I'm using. You don't have to use a texture sheet. You could just press things into it. Mokume Gane has many different... You can make Mokume Gane in many different ways. And I have quite a few tutorials on those, so I'll leave some links to those tutorials in the links below. And now what I'm busy doing is I'm busy trying to close up these holes to a certain extent. And all I do is I kind of reduce the cane. So I'll have it on one side, press, flip, until those holes are pretty much closed up. And I'll do that for the same for the other one. And it's very quick to do. Just like that, and that will squeeze out any remaining water that might be there. And so we'll wipe the tile, because the tile needs to be completely dry before you start slicing, and I'll show you why in just a second, because we want our clay to stick to the tile, so you can't have any water in the area because that will cause problems. So we'll start with the one that has many lines in it, and just make sure your back is smooth. Then press it onto your tile just like that, and then I bring over my tissue blade, and this one is my flexible tissue blade, as you can see. And what I like to do is I like to hold it as close to the middle as possible. I need to gauge because I can't hold it like that and then slice, because then my fingers are going to get in the way. So they just need to be a little bit outside of the width of your Mokume Gane slab. And I'm just going to hold it in the middle instead of holding it like this, because if I hold it like this, I have a lot of opportunity to gouge my clay. So I want a nice even slice. And if you're wondering why I don't use my flexible tissue blade, it's because being that the thin tissue blade is thinner, it will provide a sharper and cleaner slice. So let's slice. And there's the imprint. Okay, so I'm going to flip this. So this was lying on top of here, and this is the cobalt on top of the white, so this will be the lighter side. Now if I flip this, this will be the opposite, so the cobalt will be on top of the black. And so you can see what a complete difference that looks like. It looks completely different because the white is on top of the blue, so it will be lighter, while the white on top of the black in this one will be darker. But the blue is on top of the black in this one, and so that will appear darker, and the blue is on top of the white in this one, and so that one will appear lighter. And so it will create an interesting effect. So I'll just take another slice. And there you can see again that it's a different colour. So that's just something that you do need to keep in mind when you're doing Mokume Gane, because it can affect your look. And if you're going for a specific look, you need to just keep that in mind, because otherwise your look could turn out differently and you might not like it. Okay. Let's slice this one. Now this one has got less lines than this one, so it will look different. And so your pattern will be larger. So if I bring over this one, the colours are kind of more mixed together, and so the effect of the blue on top of the black will be harsher in this slab than it will be in this slab, where the blue just looks mildly darker. So there's not as much a difference between these two pieces as there are over here. And your pattern will also be a little less intricate because you have less lines. So this one you can see there's all sorts of cool lines, while with this one it's a little bit more open. So that's another thing just to keep in your mind when you are doing your Mokume Gane. So if I just slice off a piece over here to show you the lines, and I'll just bring this one over here so I can quickly slice off a piece to show you the lines. So bring this over here. This was this one, and this one was this one. So this one looks almost blended. You can barely see those lines, but you will be able to see the colours in the Mokume Gane. And this one, you can see the lines still, but your Mokume Gane will be more open. So just keep in mind this. I just like to show this so that you guys know what to look for. But that's basically basic Mokume Gane, and those are the tips to just keep in mind when you're doing it, so that you know what effect you're going to come out with. You never know exactly what effect you're going to come with, because depending on how you reduce it and how you stack it and all sorts of things, those layers can be a little unpredictable. But for the most part you will be able to redo what you have done if you keep those rules in mind. So, I do hope that this tutorial was helpful to you, and if it was, please do check out the links below, as there'll be links to more tutorials like this one. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please check out my website jessamatutorials.com. I will have it listed in the links below. And if you are watching this on my website Jessama Tutorials, Please tell me if this tutorial was helpful to you and include that comment in the comment section below. And as always, I hope to see you in the next tutorial. Bye for now.